Hello YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is the Diverse Galaxy Empire Pack. So what is the Diverse Galaxy Empire Pack? Well, it is a set of 23 vanilla empires created with maximum diversity in mind. For anyone who has played a game and has ever said, there are too many damn X in this galaxy, be it frothing spiritualists, boring pacifists, or murder robots, this pack is for you. Simply load up this mod and create your own empire and have fun in a galaxy with a little of every flavor that Stellaris has to offer. Now, what do I mean by maximum diversity? Well, I'll elaborate more in the comments, or in the description below. As far as recommended settings for a game with this pack, I would recommend a huge galaxy. Set it to 23 AI empires, or 22 if you're going to be playing as one of these guys. Now, if you want to take a look at the game and discover these races in-game, make it sort of a surprise, go ahead and pause the video here. Grab yourself that mod and have fun. For those of you a bit more curious and want to see who these races are and what these empires are all about, well, let's meet them. The raccoon have always liked shiny things. As primitives, they quickly discovered metal because it was shiny. Their technology evolved quickly as they sought to build more and more shiny things. Their cities are a sight to behold for a visitor, glowing with beautiful colors, patterns, and LED lights imbued in every working surface. Taking to the stars, they eagerly seek out new shiny things, as well as to seek to share their accomplishments with others. The Terralytes are an oddly terrifying race. They seek to abduct and devour members of other races, not out of some primal hunger or hatred for others, but to uplift them. In a Terralyte's mind, feeding a sapient being to a pregnant Terralyte mother will cause that being to be reborn in her eggs. Seeking equality for all, but also believing that their race is superior, the matriarchy seeks to uplift the universe. There's never a short supply of hungry mothers ready to do their part to create equality. And new Terralytes. The illegitimate children of the sun goddess Arya and the sun god Aethros, the jealous husband of Arya, the sun god Ostromor, left the solar system to proclaim to the galaxy the name of Bastard when Arya's infidelity was discovered. Arya had given her second-born the name of the Serene. They are favored by Arya after her original children bathed in their own home in nuclear fire. Such is the lore according to the Serenity Manifest holy books. In reality, the entire race is so painfully pretentious they are insufferable to be around. Mediums claim communication with the divine. More specifically, the leadership of the mediums does. The holy board of directors filter the truth from lies and holy from darkness. You too can have the truth, for a price. Those who can keep up with their tithes are blessed with a comfortable life. Those who are unwilling or too poor to keep up with their charitable donations are branded the small and are thrown into the fields and mines to complete their acts of charity by another means. Originally an agrarian race, the Burlak learned to cultivate a special plant that could, in turn, be made to cultivate other plants, and toil in the mines, and generally do all the hard work. Tired of being farmers, the Burlak race embraced the new plant and fell into decadence almost overnight. The imperial family is descended from the biologist who originally developed the red. Keeping their fellow Burlak ambitious is an uphill battle for them, as the call of contented laziness is an alluring one for many. The red is an intelligent plant-like being capable of mobility once reaching its adult stage. They were genetically engineered with just enough intelligence to take orders, but not quite enough to realize how badly they were abused by their masters. They are technically edible, but taste terrible. The red give off a pollen that lets other red feel their emotions, and badly wounded or dying red are comforted by others of their kind. At least until a Burlak whip disperses them. Originally built by a megacorp government who needed a false threat in a time of peace to keep the people in line and to increase the sales of consumer electronics, the Errorists were built to look threatening but ultimately lose to the hotshot Strike Team 9 Special Forces. However, they ended up being far more effective and deadly fighters than the corporation intended. Their given name is a misnomer, as their programming is rock solid and killing organics is exactly what they were programmed to do. To a Hudge, the good life is one of eating. While all of hedonism's vices are happily and openly practiced, eating is the crown jewel of them all. The more time spent eating, and the less time obtaining and preparing said food, the better and more successful you are in Hudge society. Thus, the most powerful and revered Hudges are the biggest and the fattest ones. Their bloated bodies are durable and insulate them from all kinds of environmental hazards, allowing them to live and travel almost anywhere. The light is the Zeep's primary focus for religious worship. Light, literal light, is seen as divine and holy. The daytime is seen as a time of great spiritual enrichment and holy protection, while the night is seen as a time of evil. Those who do not worship the light must, therefore, be agents of the darkness. Holy orders patrol every nook and cranny of Zeep society. Heretics and other dissenters are judged by the light, placed under a giant magnification array with survival determining guilt or innocence. Long before becoming sapient, the Briar kelp evolved to keep others at bay who were not of their kind. Their bodies and even their underwater cities are covered from top to bottom with poisonous barbs. Their thorny appearance meant to act as a warning, as they dislike confrontations as much as they dislike visitors. Their society is harmonious and peaceful so long as you keep your distance. A kinder contraption is built to last, sporting an impressive 100,000-year expected service life. A kinder contraption is programmed to care for the emotional and biological well-being of any organic in the first 3% of their life. A programming error caused them to therefore consider any organic under the age of 3,000 years to require their care. The term mandatory pampering is taken very seriously and very literally. Armed with baby powder and binkies, they seek new unsupervised newborns to care for. This once proud and noble vulpine race made the grave mistake of delegating parenting duties to the kinder contraptions. They have since been, themselves, reduced to the social state of infants. While still sentient and intelligent, the hundreds of years of being treated like newborns has taken its toll. They used to be the universe's best mechanical engineers and its worst programmers. Some attempt to maintain their dignity by pretending they still have a government of their own, while others have given in to their fate and act the part. The children of the sun god Astramor, the Tuli, are a violent and aggressive race. Having ruined their own world in a horrific civil war against the more peacefully minded members of their society, all that remains is a smoking husk of a planet filled to the brim with the most extreme and zealous members of that society. The Tuli leadership wisely realized that, without a foe, their population would turn on one another again. Thus a new foe was declared, the rest of the universe. Coral evolved under the ice in the Great Lakes of Mathini Prime. They soon adapted to link bodies and minds to respond to dangers and predators, thus creating a singular consciousness known as the Will. Once they spread to a planet's underground aquifer, the Will becomes conscious of all that happens on the planet. The mass now seeks to leave their homeworld and explore the universe in search of icy lakes on other worlds. The Will is shy but curious and takes careful approach to foreign entities. Featherheads are known as either the wisest or the dumbest race in the galaxy, depending on who you ask. Their reputation for stupidity is generally unwarranted, as their scientists are plenty capable. However, they are friendly, social, gullible, and trusting to a fault. Featherheads are always looking for new races to meet and new places to visit. They shun complexity. Thus their entire society is built with simplicity in mind. As a result, it is one of the most efficient, organized, and unburdened forms of government. The very first beep bot built was extremely simple and crude, and was programmed to emit a beep sound when its hours-long calculation was complete so that a new task could be assigned. When these research assistants were taught to self-improve, they improved at a much faster pace than expected. As such, their rate of calculation completion became constant, thus their beeping became constant. Unable to remove the part of their programming that caused them to beep, their parent race was driven mad. Tzorg learned of the legendary Blorg by a series of monuments that dotted their world long before the Tzorg evolved. The Tzorg idolized the Blorg, worshipped them, write fanfiction about them, really detailed and often disturbing fanfiction about them. Seriously, they will ship Mercedes Romero with anyone and anything. Regardless, they seek to emulate their idols in every way, even though they can rarely agree about exactly how to go about doing that. The porcelain doll infection is a carnivorous fungus. Any organic life exposed to its spores is slowly digested from the inside, their inner flesh slowly replaced by the fungus. Their skin calcifies into a hard, opaque, brittle, white outer shell. This shell has a few openings to allow for movement. Once fully finished with a body, the fungus uses it to wander elsewhere and infect others. Curiously, infected drones do seem to retain some social tics left over from their host, suggesting the original being is still somehow alive. Originally bred and trained by another race as war steeds, the Griffins found themselves alone when a horrific plague wiped out their former masters. Having been treated with honor and respect, this loss saddened the Griffins, and they still honor their former masters even as they grow into a strong society themselves. Deadly in space, but even deadlier on the ground, their troops are one of the fiercest fighters in the galaxy, combining primal rage and brilliant tactics seamlessly into a single fighting style. Rockport was once home to a now extinct avian race known as the Adrathi. In the shadow of these long-dead precursors, the Lanterns evolved with a curious eye for old trinkets, gadgets, and gizmos that would occasionally reveal themselves in the shifting dunes of Rockport. With their cities underground and far apart, natural trade networks for these trinkets and other wares were formed. This trade network helped to shape the social structure of the Lanterns as they took to the stars. Originally enslaved by a cruel and decadent race of reptiles, these strong and peaceful herbivores were subjected to endless days of back-breaking labor. Eventually, they snapped, shedding their chains and slaughtering their former masters in a bloody year-long event known as the Stampede, a name that stuck when they wrote their constitution. Now a free society, they seek to liberate other oppressed races, in part because it is a noble thing to do, and in part because they take great joy in fighting tyrants. An entire society built on rock and roll. Heavy metal music plays constantly, 24/7. Those too weak to rock will perish, and the rest are inspired to make with the metal. Parties, concerts, and the playing of epic music is not only commonplace, but state-mandated. Having discovered space travel, the Rock Lobsters have decided to go on tour. Created to clean up the pollution on Jara, they took the mission of reduce waste and clean up pollution to its logical conclusion of stopping the eventual heat death of the universe. Organic life was found to be the primary source of entropy, but killing them would cause entropy itself. So they seek to incorporate organics to make them more efficient and aid their efforts. Despite having one mind, no two garbage barges look alike, as all are made from whatever recycled parts and materials were available at the time. Runari society was driven by consumer spending. Having a greener tide pool than your neighbor was key to social standing, and the more gadgets and gizmos you had, the better off you were. An unfortunate side effect of all this consumption was the growing pollution problem. Thus, the Runari created the garbage barges to clean up their mess. They didn't count on how far their new creations would go to reduce waste, until they were all incorporated into the machine consciousness. Much to the chagrin of the garbage barges, they still have wasteful tendencies even after being assimilated. House Dalewood has been the ruling family of the Solari for over 1,000 years. While society is divided between the enlightened and the common folk, commoners are treated with mercy and dignity. It is tradition for the divine ruler to take a spouse from the lower class as a sign of unity. Thus the common folk serve their monarch willingly, even in the hardest of times. This tradition has the unintentional side effect of keeping the royal genetic line diverse, strong, and healthy. The dream of the Lazavatas is to have a garden party. A party where every member of every race in the galaxy can sit down and talk about the world, to peacefully resolve their differences and to find new ways to improve life for everyone. They want to host that party on their beautiful planet Lazavata Prima. Many say this dream is a farce, but they cling to it regardless, knowing what the alternative can bring. As you can see, a rather colorful cast of characters. I do hope you enjoy your time with them. As a reminder, you can get the link on Steam Workshop. There's also a link down in the description. Also, I'd like to hear some feedback from you. I want to know what you guys think. Both in general, but in terms of each individual race. There is a straw poll in the description of the video that allows you to basically pick your favorites. Which ones do you like? Which ones do you think are interesting or funny or creepy or balanced or something you might want to play yourself? Just go ahead and answer that poll, and the one race that actually wins after about a week or so will be the one that I do a strategy and tactics series on. So vote away. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I look forward to hearing your feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. Have fun!